A perfect season. We'll be playing Hillside. That one is Saturday morning, 10 a.m. at Rutgers University. And Coach, I don't know if you would have said it when we had you here a few weeks ago, but we're not really that surprised that the role has continued, win away. It's got to be an exciting time for you, your players, your staff, and your school.
No, it is pretty exciting, and we've had a lot of community support, and it's just been an honor and a privilege to go through the season with these kids and my staff, and they really worked hard for it. And each week we've been trying to compete week in and week out to get to this point, and the kids have done a great job of doing that.
We asked, or I think Ed asked Coach Wagner, a turning point, and they were up 3, then they lost 3. Of course, you haven't lost a game yet, but was there a point this season where you felt stronger than ever? Hey, if we stay healthy, things go our way, we're going to be playing that first weekend in December.
The Monmouth game was one that was a real challenge, and it was very competitive, and our kids overcame some adversity and had their backs against the wall and fought through and came out with the win that day, and that kind of showed what type of kids we had and the resilience they had.
And of course, in the state semifinals, you guys defeated Manasquan and did so very thoroughly and impressively. And of course, Manasquan needs no introduction. 12 sectional titles all time, the defending champions in the bracket. To get a win over a program like that, it's a state semifinal, so obviously it means you're going to the championship. But that had to be big, just as a program as a whole, not just to win, but to control a game like that against a team that obviously was coming in and expected to be back in the final.
No, we knew it was going to be a tough one. It's two good programs going at it. Manasquan obviously is very well coached and they have tradition, and Point Borough has great tradition too. And I think our kids bought into that, and we have a special group. And we knew going into it, if we executed and we played physical and played fast, that our kids can get it done. And they earned it, and that's what it came down to. And our kids were ready for it, and I think they were very excited to play that game, to be able to prove themselves, and that's what they did.
Matt, of course, you played Friday night in a game that we covered, and Johnson and Hillside played Saturday night, so it gave you a chance for you and your staff. I'm sure you went up to scout them, correct?
Yeah, we saw them actually 3 weeks in a row. So
okay, so let me ask you this. Were you surprised? I mean, they were the underdog going into that Johnson game. Were you surprised that they won that game?
No, I knew it was going to be a competitive game because the first time around, they're in the same division. And the first time around, Johnson beat him, I think, by a touch, and I think it was 22-13.
Yes.
And, so we knew going into it that Hillside was very physical. They play fast, and they're very competitive. So it was, for them, for Hillside, they got to see the triple twice. So for us, it'll be a great contest. It'll be a good challenge for us.
Okay, mention 2 guys you got to stop.
For them, they have their running back, and he's also their linebacker. I think his name is Ogwa, and he's had a great year this year so far, and I think it was his second year playing football. He's very athletic, very physical, and very football savvy. The quarterback, he's got good wheels. He can throw it. He can make things happen when he's out in the open. And then they have a slot kid named Bigginton, who he can run too. He gets out in that jet sweep, and they can make things happen. They can hit some home runs. So if we execute and we minimize those home runs and we play tough and physical and fast, we should be okay.
And Coach, as you mentioned, they've got they've got some big play guys. the quarterback, as you mentioned, Tajay Irby, is throwing for about 1,800 yards. Brian Ugwu, as you mentioned, 1,100 yards. And those 2 backs, their other running back has 1,000 yards rushing, James Lewis. And those guys are both averaging over 15 yards a carry. So I'm sure you've seen that on film. They really have the potential to break it. Is that obviously a big key coming in? Hey, don't let them break those long runs. Kind of make them earn it down the field on these drives.
Yeah, our kids all year long have been resilient on the defensive side of the ball, and bending and not breaking. And our kids have been playing fast, and they make the right checks. And if we can do that and recognize right away their formations and where those kids are aligned, we should be okay.
Is there a short conference team they remind you of in any way, or are they totally different?
They have a little bit of everything, from us playing Monmouth to playing Lakewood to playing Raritan. Giving that type of look on both sides of the ball.
You mentioned you know, you kind of felt, and I think your team kind of felt when they played Manasquan, there was something to prove. There's always been that, you know, Class B South, big deal. It's, and all that. Was that kind of part of it that maybe some people, I mean, here you were undefeated, but maybe some people sort of overlooked you a little bit because of that?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, to go back to last year, especially with this senior group, they're a very special group. Kids like James Farrar, Tanner Gordon, Nate Chiarello, Brandon Cipriano, Connor Landis, all these kids coming back. You know, going into last year, everyone had us finishing 5th in the division, you know, and saying that we had to replace all those starters from the year before. And I think these guys, with their leadership, you know, really want to sit out and prove everyone wrong. And I think that's continued in the process up to this point. And I think that experience from last year going into this year really had them play with a chip on their shoulder.
Matt, I was just going to say, Brandon Cipriano seems to really have come on at the end of the year. I think he's a very important part of your offense, both in the air, catching the ball from Farah, and also on the ground, getting those pitches and those option tosses. How important has he been?
Extremely important. I mean, he gives us a lot of that outside threat, you know, whether it's getting vertical or getting outside on sweeps and we're on the pitch. And, you know, he picks up the pace for us. You know, because we're constantly grinding it out. And now you either have to stop Tanner going up the middle or James with the football, and then boom, we hit you with Cipriano on the outside. So, you know, it's a good threat to have, and those kids deserve it.
And with Brandon, you know, he's got 700 yards rushing. You know, he leads the team in receiving. He is, you know, by far and away the leading receiver. You know, last year he got off to a good start, got injured midway through the season. And at the time, I don't think you realized how big of a loss that was for you guys. But you guys knew what he brought to the table, that third dimension in your offense. And now we're seeing it this year. I mean, did you know coming into this season, hey, he's healthy, this can really take this offense to the next level?
Yeah, we were excited because we knew what type of kid he was. He's a high-character kid, a hard worker, and we knew he was going to put in the work. And he had that speed that we're looking for that can really accelerate our offense. And, you know, he's been a huge pickup for us. And getting him back was just a tremendous asset for us.
I know one thing, he's not getting a Christmas gift from anyone on Manasquan. They don't want to see him again. Boy, you talk about a night, huh? Four touchdowns. I mean, that's, you dream of those nights. You know, we'll have him up here in a couple minutes and talk to him about it. Coach, anything different you're doing for this? I mean, or are you taking the attitude it's just another game? Is your prepping any different? And tell us a little bit about your plans for getting up there for a 10 a.m. game on Saturday.
No, you know, we're trusting the system right now. You know, especially on the offensive side of the ball, we have our line that's been playing very physical and getting off the ball. And we have, you know, our senior leader, Dave Fatizzi, who's had a great year this year.
And by the way, I'm glad you brought him tonight because I think, you know, when you have as many named players as you have, we've got the chance to see your team a couple of times. I think your offensive line is one of the real strengths of the whole team.
Yeah, no, those kids are doing a great job for us, and we wouldn't have the yardage we have with our three attack players, you know, on the opposite side of the ball without those guys, you know, and guys like Gabe and Bonavito, you know, Franciscini and Connor Landis, you know, I can go on and on, but they've done a great job for us this year, and it shows. It shows offensively how we're moving the ball and the points that we can put up on the board. You know, and going into this week, you know, we're just trusting that system that we've been doing all year long, and we know if we play physical and we go out there and just execute, we should be okay.
Are you going up early Saturday morning or Friday night?
No, we're going up early Saturday morning.
Okay, so what's your timetable?
Right now, the bus is leaving probably around 7 o'clock. So we have the kids getting in there early, around 6:15, and getting taped and ready to go. We'll have our offensive defensive meeting at 6:45, and hopefully those buses are ready, and we hop on those buses. And we have to be up there. I don't think they're letting us in the field till 8:30, so they have their whole schedule set up for us.
That is the one advantage, that you're allowed to get on the field early and be there as long as right up till game time.
Because you're playing the first game.
Because you're playing the first game, because all the other teams have to wait and usually only can't warm up on the field. So you'll be able to get used to that field.
Right. Yeah, I mean, we're the first game, so we'll be able to get some of our pre-game stuff done. I know others have to be in the bubble, so, you know, when they get there,
right.
And it's kind of like an assembly line getting in and out of there.
I want to go back real quick. You know, this team coming in, we knew it was a talented group, you know, coming off what you guys accomplished last season. Has it been that edge that you said that they play with where they still feel like they had some things to prove that has kind of helped elevate them? Because obviously we knew they were talented. We knew you guys were definitely, you know, right up there, going to compete for the B South title, probably the favorite, as most of us thought coming in. But just the way they play. Like they're coming out to prove it every week, no matter who they're playing. And obviously that's big. That can take a team a long way. In addition to their X's and O's.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of it has to do with the very tight-knit group. They really are. They have great team chemistry. They battle for each other and they play for each other. And the friendships and relationships they have, you see it in the locker room, you see it on the field. It's something special. It's special.
Does that come from having a small community as this is? I mean, it's a Group 2 school, but Point Pleasant, they're really kind of both towns with Borough and Beach. But obviously with the Borough kids, I mean, these kids really are close knit. It's a neighborhood. You see kids riding bikes to school, and it just has that small town atmosphere where you said you have these relationships that these kids are close since they were little kids playing Pop Warners.
Oh, no doubt. That's why I moved there. That's why my kids are going to school there. No, it's a great community, great school district. It's one of those places that everyone knows each other and they watch out for each other, and it's very tight. It really is. The culture's great.
Well, I told John Wagner to make sure he makes the call to the fire guys and tell them to put the gas in the fire trucks to get ready for the parade. Because I think the Borough will come home in about 1:30, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. The parade, they'll meet you at Herbertsville, and the parade begins. Good luck,
Thank
Coach.
you. I appreciate it. Thanks for
Good luck.
It's truly an honor and privilege. Thank you for having me.
Coach, you've been great all year long. We've really enjoyed talking to you. So hope you finish the task, and we'll look forward to talking to you guys in just a couple minutes. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Matt Cilento, we take a timeout. We come back.